Hi everyone, welcome back to English 1302. This is still week one, and I'm still Joseph Fly. I'd like to take a few moments and visit with you about the opening of the play Macbeth. There's some important things that you may have overlooked, and I thought we would just discuss them together real quick. Before we begin, let me remind you it is essential that you learn who the main characters are. You want to know who's who and what's what before the play opens. So, most versions of the play will have a list of the characters at the beginning. Go through that, highlight it, rewrite it by hand if you need to. But you need to know that Duncan is the king, that the three witches are actual literal witches in their culture. Macbeth was a thane, which is like a high-ranking politician slash military commander, and his best friend is Banquo, and then Lady Macbeth is his wife. And that's pretty much all the main characters. But and then King Duncan's two sons, Donald Bane and Malcolm. But and then of course Macduff, who's the archenemy, but he becomes important later. Also, can you watch a video? Sure. The play was written to be acted out. And so, of course, character movement and blocking and stuff becomes very important. But I do encourage you, read the play first, then watch the video. Anytime you watch a movie, you're only getting one person's interpretation of the material, and that's the director's. Here, you want to get your own interpretation. You want to get your own view, your own context for the play by reading it, and then see what someone else has written. Okay, so the play Macbeth. And again, you don't need one of these little standalone copies. You can get one if you want, but you're welcome to just print out the play or read it on the screen if you wish. But the play opens, Act 1, Scene 1, and Act 1, Scene 1 is very short. It's literally one page. You've only got three characters. It's the three witches, and they're talking to each other. And the first line says, when shall we three meet again? So right there it tells you, we're meeting now. We've already got something going on. We've done something. We've got some plans started. And so when are we going to meet to finish up, to wrap up, to see this thing through? And they say, well, we'll meet when the battle is finished. Well, that'll be before the sun sets today. And then they say, we're going to meet on the heath, that's the meadow, to meet with Macbeth. So they're going to meet with the thing Macbeth. And the witches call their familiars, Grey Malkin and Panic. One's a cat and one's a toad. But this will be more significant to you if you remember that Shakespeare's audience really believed in witches. That witches were pretty much evil incarnate. They had no good feelings or intentions for anybody. They were agents of Satan, of the devil, and their familiars, their pets, not really pets, but their familiars were their connection to their evil source. So their pets were how they connected to the devil, and they had supernatural powers which they only used for evil. Okay. Now, Shakespeare begins this play not with witches, not only to grab the attention of his audience, although that's important, but also to kind of get in good with the king. King James I has just become King of England, although he was previously King of Scotland, and he believes in witches big time. In fact, he wrote a book on witches and witchcraft. So this playwright Shakespeare is trying to kind of get in good with the new king. So he writes on a topic that he knows the king is big on, and he makes it very exciting. That's pretty much all that happens in Act 1, Scene 1. Act 1, Scene 2 is where the action really kind of gets going because we meet Macbeth and Banquo in person. They're good friends. They're both thanes of different parts of the kingdom. And together, they have turned the tide of battle. Scotland is at war with Norway and with foreign invaders from Germany, with these mercenary troops from Germany. And the invaders look like they're going to win. The battle is going badly for Scotland until Macbeth, with his troops and his good friend Banquo, they ride in like knights on a horse, on a shining knight on a white horse. They ride in as superheroes at the last minute. They turn the tide of battle. They save Scotland, and they save the life of the king. Because if Scotland had lost the battle, of course, the king would have been killed, along with all of his friends and families and relatives. But anyway, so Macbeth saves the day with his bravery, with his swordsmanship, with his athletic ability, and he's just the big hero. Now, King Duncan is a good king, and I can't emphasize that enough. You really got to remember he's a good king, both by our standards today and by the standards of the time. He has all the traits that a good king needs. He is faithful to his country, he's loyal to his kin, and he is generous with his subjects. And this generosity was one of the defining characteristics of what a good king was supposed to be, and we see it a lot in King Duncan. That's why his death is supposed to affect the audience so strongly, because he's such a good guy, such a sweet guy, and he's generous to his loyal followers. And gosh, it's so bad that he died, especially the way he did. But anyway, so Macbeth and Banquo swoop in. They win the battle. The captain comes in and he tells the king what's going on and how brave Macbeth has saved the day. And the king says, "Great, let's make him another Thane." Now, the Thane of Cawdor was in with the rebellious Norwegian troops, the German mercenaries. And so when Macbeth defeats them, all of a sudden there's a job opening, the Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth is already Thane of Glamis, or Glamis is the way some videos pronounce it. But King Duncan, in his excitement, in his joy, in his relief to have won the battle, to won the war, he does something really unusual. He gives Macbeth a second thaneship. He's now Thane of Glamis. Let's give him Thane of Cawdor. Let's give him the castles and all the farmland and all the income and stuff of the guy who's trying to take over and make him double powerful and double important. That's one of the things that sparks his ambition. Another thing to remember is in this culture, ambition was a dirty word. In our culture, ambition is a good thing. Most everyone expects to get ahead or wants to get ahead. They want to get promoted. They want more responsibility. They want to become boss or manager or owner of the company or the enterprise. And back then, that was really not a good thing. People were expected to be satisfied with the place where God had put them. If God made you Thane of Cawdor, then you're supposed to be happy right there and not look for anything more. Plus, Macbeth, now the key thing that you're fixing to run across here is that the witches are going to prophesy that Macbeth is going to become King of Scotland. That's great. That's wonderful. Hey, lucky guy. Not really, because he wasn't supposed to. He wasn't in line for that promotion. To become king, you have to be either the eldest son or the second son of the current king. And then when he dies, the eldest son becomes king, or if he can't, then the second son. And King Duncan has two sons, an older and a younger, an heir and a spare. And so there's really no expectation that any of his lieutenants are going to move up the ladder. That's why it's so weird when it happens. But the play opens with a tone of mystery and suspense and foreboding. Something bad is going to happen. We just have to find out what it is. The play's a short one. There's only a few characters. It doesn't last long. It's not particularly dense. There's a little psychology going on in there. You have to kind of understand the human psyche a little bit, but it's an exciting play. I hope you'll enjoy reading it, and we will talk some more about this next week. Have yourselves a good weekend.